Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Drugged Drew make a fool of himself in public. A drugged Drew makes a public spectacle of himself, and Lulu hopes he'll land her a front page story. Today on General Hospital, Anna questions Emma about Dalton. Nina and Portia put their plan into action, and Drew strikes the deal with Tracy. Joss walks into the Savoy and sees Anna at the bar with Dalton. Professor Dalton, Hank, tells Anna that he transferred to PCU from the Bay Area. Anna asks why he transferred, and he explains that PCU made him a generous offer for his research in environmental physics. He asks how he ended up in her line of work. She calls it a long story, and one she doesn't want to go into on a rare night off for her. Dalton asks what she'd like to talk about. Anna spots Jordan with Curtis and thinks her ladies' night has been canceled, so she's going to head home. Hank asks for her phone number to take her out sometime, but she calls the town very small and says they're bound to run into one another. Anna takes off, and Joss swoops in to take her seat. Cody meets up with Lulu and apologizes for being late, but he was kicked by a horse. She wouldn't have asked him out if he was hurt, but he is glad for any reason to get out, as he doesn't exactly have a social life. Jordan and Curtis continue to chat, and Curtis says he'll always care about her, and going after Sidwell is a big deal. She tells him that it's not a question of whether she can't handle Sidwell, but whether Sidwell can handle her. In her office, Portia talks to Nina over the phone. Nina has the ketamine. They just have to decide when and where to set their trap. Portia hangs up when Drew shows up making demands. He's sick of her failing to deliver, but she says it's not easy to change Curtis's mind about him. Drew has a new idea. He wants her to convince Curtis to use Aurora to support the referendum taking Sunny's peers. She says Curtis is friends with Laura, but Drew doesn't care. She needs to get him results, or he will blow her dirty secret. At Nina's place, she meets with Jacinda and gives the ketamine to use on Drew. Jacinda says ketamine can be dangerous, but Nina says it's pharmacy grade and pure. She wants Drew to have a night he will never remember, but one that all of Port Charles will never forget. At the Quartermain mansion, Gio asks what Sunny did to make Tracy want to hurt him. Tracy says Sunny has been a plague on this family for decades, and she presents Exhibit A as Jason walks in. Tracy tells Jason that she was just about to fill Gio in on the pain that Sunny has brought upon this family. Jason asks what prompted this, and Gio explains that Tracy supports taking Sunny's peers from him. Emma asks Tracy not to do this, and to consider it a favor paid for her saving her family's crypt from Drew. Drew's name sparks an idea for Tracy. In Portia's office, Drew takes a call from Tracy, who wants to discuss a matter of mutual interest, one that will be important to him. He tells her to meet him at the Port Charles Grill. He then tells Portia to make sure all of Aurora's media outlets run negative stories about Sunny or else. He then walks out. Portia calls Nina back and lets her know that Drew went to meet Tracy at the Port Charles Grill. At Nina's, she gives Jacinta her instructions, and to return tomorrow for her final payment, and then she is to leave town and never look back. Portia later arrives at Nina's, and she and Nina think their plan will work. Nina knows this will break Willow's heart, but in the end, it will be worth it. Portia says after tonight, Drew's reputation will be mud, and he will be out of both of their lives. Portia realizes she has to meet Curtis at the Savoy and runs off. Back at the Savoy, Lulu tells Cody the news that her adoption story is going to run in the Landview banner. Cody calls adoption a topic near and dear to his heart. At their table, Curtis tells Jordan he knows she was always happiest undercover. Jordan admits her life has felt stagnant for the past few years, but stopping that guy from killing Isaiah reignited something in her. At the bar, Dalton tells Joss she is doing well so far, but has a lot to catch up on. Joss is doing the work and really wants the summer research job. Dalton doesn't think it will happen. Someone who has been present all semester really deserves this opportunity. Joss asks if there is anything she can do to improve her chances. He tells her to just keep working hard. He doesn't want to discourage her, but has to be honest with her about her chances. He also suggests she do her best on the assignments, and there are plenty of other positions out there. Henry decides on that note to head out. Back at the mansion, Drew and Emma are confused about Tracy working with Drew, whom she hates. Tracy can't take the risk of Sunny hurting anyone else in this family. As she walks out, she tells Jason she knows he's going to tell heartwarming stories about Sunny, so don't leave out what he did to AJ. Jason takes leave, and Emma decides to head out as well. Jason soon returns to answer Gio's questions. Jason thinks it's best for Gio to forget what Tracy said about AJ. Gio argues that if he won't tell him, he'll find someone who will. Jason explains that Sunny killed his brother. Gio doesn't believe him. Jason explains that Sunny walked in on AJ attacking Ava and shot him to protect Ava. He wasn't there, and Sunny and the Quartermaines have different accounts of what happened. He chooses to believe Sunny. Jason knows how Gio is feeling, and the Keys tried to turn him against Sunny too, but he wouldn't let them. Sunny has always been his friend, and he's generous and supportive. Gio feels the same way about his uncle. Jason says Gio needs to make his own decision about Sunny. Does he trust his instincts or listen to everyone else? Gio respects Tracy, but has to trust his guy on Sunny. Jason assures him that Sunny will be okay, and he's faced more challenging situations before. Plus, Tracy aligning herself with Drew means she's already lost. Tracy meets with Drew at the Port Charles Grill to discuss their mutual dislike for Sunny and forcing Sunny to take his criminal enterprise elsewhere. She thinks if they put their differences aside and join forces to convince Port Charles to vote against Sunny, they will win. Drew doesn't come cheap and wants the use of the Quartermaine name back. Jacinda walks in, sits at the bar, and overhears a waiter place an order for a drink for Drew. Jacinda slips the K into his drink before the waiter takes it to him. Back at their table, Drew asks Tracy if they have a deal. His drink arrives, he downs it, and Tracy says that once Sunny is gone, he can reclaim the Quartermaine name. She says working to get rid of Sunny proves he's worthy of the name, and they shake on it. Tracy makes her exit, and Jacinda saunters over and takes her seat. The drug starts to hit Drew, who thinks his drink is extra strong. Jacinda introduces herself, and he asks why she wants to join him. She thought he looked like someone she'd like to get to know, and he agrees he wants to get to know her. She calls this place dead, so he knows just the place for them. At Cafe Sherry, Lucas and Marco go on a date to celebrate his new job and get to know one another. Marco assumes he wants to know about his dad, which doesn't make for a great conversation on a date. Just then, Jens walks in with Lucy. Lucas tips Marco off to his dad's presence, and Jens walks over, calling running into his son a lovely surprise. He introduces Marco to Lucy. Lucy welcomes him to Port Charles, and Jens tells the gentleman to have a good evening. Lucas guesses that now they have to talk about their dads. Lucas tells Marco the short story about his adopted parents, and later in life, he found his biological parents. Marco asks how they reacted to him coming out. Lucas says his dad was okay, but his mom took a bit longer to come around. He realizes she was initially worried for him, but she became his biggest protector. Marco says he was lucky, as his dad accepted him, but his mom couldn't and still can't. Lucas soon learns his mother is Natalia and his sister is Blaze, aka Allison. Marco explains that his parents divorced when he was young. He never had a relationship with his dad, and he was very close to his mom. When he came out as a teen, it changed everything, and he'll never forget the look on her face. Marco says that's when he reached out to his dad, who was supportive and became his rock. Lucas thanks him for talking about this with him. Marco thinks he brought the mood down, so he suggests they hit a club. Lucas says he's retired from dancing, but Marco won't take no for an answer. Across the room, Lucy tells Jens his son is as charming and as handsome as he is. Jens is excited to have his son living in the same town as him for once. Lucy can't believe Natalia never mentioned her son. She can't imagine a mother rejecting her son for being gay, and is so glad they fired her. Jens agrees it's sad Natalia is robbing herself of a relationship with their son. Missing his son's childhood is his major regret. Lucy likes seeing this softer side of him, and he notes there are many sides at the bistro. Emma has to pull an all-nighter for her environmental physics class. Anna says she met someone at the Savoy who she might know, a Professor Dalton. Emma notes that is her professor. Anna finds it interesting that he is from the Bay Area, and they both transferred to PCU at the same time. Emma says it's weird, but just a coincidence. Anna says there are no coincidences in her line of work, so does Emma have something to confess? Emma admits she deliberately got into Dalton's class, but only because he's well known. She insists it was just fate, and she has a chance at landing a job as his summer intern. Anna is proud and hugs her, but Anna's face seems doubtful. Emma also looks as if she could still be hiding something. Portia arrives at the Savoy and finds Curtis with Jordan. Curtis explains he was congratulating Jordan on her new job. Jordan tells Portia about her new job, and Portia wishes her luck, especially in having to deal with Drew. Marco and Lucas walk in, and Lucas begins having flashbacks to his magic Milo days. Marco promises they'll have fun. Joss rushes over, says hello to Lucas, who introduces her to Marco. Joss mouths to Lucas, he's hot. At their table, Lulu tells Cody he lucked out as Mac is a great guy. Cody knows, and seeing Mac with James gives him a glimpse of what he missed out on. Lulu seems a bit down as he mentions that, and he asks if she's okay. And he didn't mean to upset her. Drew then stumbles down the steps with Jacinda, drawing everyone's attention. He raves about how good Jacinda looks. He kisses her neck and hugs her, as Curtis says to Jordan and Portia that Drew seems to have forgotten he was banned from this place. Curtis wants to throw him out, but Portia points out that the very drunk Drew is making a fool of himself. Curtis says, let's let him bury himself. Drew calls for shots for everyone, and Jordan notes this will be a disaster for her new job with Sidwell. She's intent on getting Drew out of there and away from that woman. Cody tells Lulu he knew he was right about that son of a bitch. Lulu says Drew is going to land her a front-page story tomorrow. She pulls out her phone and begins filming. Drew tells Jacinda they need to do a body shot, when Jordan tries to intervene and tell Drew he's had enough for one night. Drew refuses to leave, says he's having fun, and then screams, body shots. He lifts Jacinda onto the bar, pours alcohol on her stomach, and slurps it up. Portia calls Nina to give her a very positive update, while everyone stares at Drew in disgust. On the next General Hospital, Willow returns home to something unpleasant. Brennan shares a theory.